If you were sexually harassed today at work, would you tell your husband, your boyfriend, or your significant other? If your boss made a sexually explicit comment about your body, would you share that with your partner today? And if you did, what do you think his reaction would be? By now, we've all heard about the hashtag MeToo campaign. Last week, the actress Alyssa Milano used her Twitter account to encourage women who had been sexually harassed or assaulted to tweet the words hashtag MeToo, and then boom, the internet and social media exploded with millions of women acknowledging publicly that they too had experienced harassment or assault. Some shared their stories, some simply posted the hashtag to add their voices to the fray. The hashtag MeToo movement is revolutionary in uncovering the prevalence of sexual harassment and assault in society today. For way too long, women defined their own sexual harassment as something unspoken, something private, something to be ashamed of acknowledging. And while their silence is understandable, it's had its costs. For decades, women have encountered this type of behavior in every industry across the world, from media to business to academia, and for whatever reasons, they felt like nothing could be done about it and nobody cared. But the Me Too campaign is different. It takes something that women had long kept quiet about and transformed it into a movement. And this is a great thing, but there's still a monumental amount of work to be done in confronting this climate of sexual harassment. And that change needs to start at home, in every home and within every relationship. That's why I ask, how many women would feel safe in telling their boyfriend or husband or significant other about their boss's inappropriate comments or inappropriate behavior? What would his response be? Would he trivialize or minimize your experience and suggest that you're overreacting? Or would he insinuate that you are somehow to blame or imply that you did something that allowed it to continue happening? Or more likely, would your boyfriend or husband respond with protective anger and want to fix the problem by confronting the perpetrator or worse? Would you be worried that your husband or boyfriend would get involved and do something that might jeopardize your job or your work? If someone I loved were sexually harassed, I know my first reaction, my gut reaction would be to want to protect her, to confront the person and fix the problem. And that, my friends, is part of the problem. It's part of the reason that so many women haven't felt like they could come forward. How would the most important adult in their lives respond? How would their partner respond? So I encourage you to have this conversation with your partner. Ask him how he might respond if you were being sexually harassed at work. Maybe his response will surprise you. I encourage you to share this video with your partner, with your brothers, with your male friends. Let's keep the conversation going and the movement alive. It's time for sexual harassment to end now. And for those of you who have a partner who has experienced sexual harassment at work or at school, let's talk about the best way to be supportive, and also let's talk about what to never ever say or do. If your loved one comes to you to share their experience, your first responsibility is to listen to them without interrupting or reacting. I know this isn't easy to do, but trust me, you need to listen like you've never listened before. Stay present and just listen for understanding of both what they tell you and how they feel. Have no agenda. Do not try to think or plan what you're going to say next. Remember, this isn't an easy conversation, and your partner really deserves to be heard and understood. Then, when they finish speaking, take a moment, gather your thoughts before you say anything. That will ensure that you have a moment to process what you've heard and allows you to avoid planning ahead for your next words. Number 2, validate their experiences. Validating means that when your partner tells you about their experience and shares their feelings, you stay with them in the moment, honoring their experience. You join their world and accurately reflect and summarize what you have heard. It's a way of showing you understand and accept their thoughts and feelings just as they are. The third thing, believe them. The most common reason people choose not to tell anyone about sexual harassment or abuse is the fear that their listener won't believe them. People rarely lie or exaggerate about abuse. If someone tells you, it's because she trusts you and needs someone to talk to. Believe what she tells you. It may have been very difficult for them to talk to you and trust you in the first place. Number 4, respect their decisions without pushback. This isn't for you to fix. Recognize the difficulty your partner may feel in bringing charges or coming forward. Accusing someone, especially someone higher up at work, of sexual abuse is not easy. So give her your support and the time she needs to decide what to do. Ask her what you can do to make her feel supported and respect the choices that she makes along the way. Remember, sexual assault and harassment takes away a person's power. It's important not to make this work by putting pressure on your partner to do something that they don't want or aren't ready for yet. Your job is to listen, not to fix. About what you should never ever say or do, these are even more important. Never ever say, "Why didn't you just say this?" or "Why didn't you just do that?" This is one of the most dismissive, offensive things to say to someone who has been sexually harassed or assaulted. Being in an intimidating sexual situation can be paralyzing, whether it's a man who won't leave you alone at a party or a coworker who keeps pressuring you behind closed doors. It's not easy to tell someone to F off or to just leave. The second thing to never ever say is, "Come on, you're not even a little bit flattered?" No, it isn't flattering to have someone yell at you on the street. It's embarrassing. It's not flattering to have a guy want you so bad that they make it difficult for you to leave the room. Those things are frightening, intimidating, creepy, and embarrassing. Never ask, "What were you wearing?" Yeah, this one is absolutely irrelevant. Anyone who has to deal with being hit on or sexually harassed on a regular basis knows that it doesn't just happen when they're wearing a miniskirt or showing a lot of skin. Even those sweatpants and sweatshirt days bring unwanted attention. Besides, this implies that the victim is to blame for their unwanted attention instead of putting the onus on the perpetrator, who is the only one who's at fault. Never say, "Oh, it could have been worse." Believe it or not, saying "at least you weren't raped or killed" isn't comforting at all. It negates the inherent violence of sexual harassment, whether it's physical or verbal, and it comes across as dismissive. The last thing someone who has been in a scary encounter like that needs is someone saying "it could have been worse." Remember, speaking up and sharing takes a lot of courage. Don't give your partner more to worry about. Be patient, listen like you've never listened before, and offer your love and emotional support. When I was thinking about doing this video, I did a little research to see how prevalent sexual assault or sexual harassment was in our society. What I found was shocking. Anywhere between 60 to 90% of the women in the workforce have experienced some type of sexual harassment or sexual assault in their lifetime. It's time for this to change. Let's keep this movement going, and let's have these conversations with the people that we love. Let's continue to ask the difficult question: how would you support a loved one that was sexually harassed or assaulted? And please share this video with your loved ones and friends, because change starts at home. It starts in every home and within every relationship. Thanks for putting up with this little rant here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.